Hello, Bill and Joe are back. We are no longer at Compound, and we are now in our homes, as you can see.
Yeah, it's good that you point out that I actually have a home because a lot of people assume that indeed I live in a refrigerator box. So yeah,
So
here it is,
nice that
people.
you cleaned up for us. That's great.
Well, I've made sure that I'm in an angle where there's no way you can make fun of my old toys. You can't see any of them.
Mm-hmm.
Not for public consumption. Nope, not happening.
Yeah, even if I wore my glasses, I wouldn't be able to tell what's back there.
Good.
But our fans from the beginning might recognize
Yes,
some stuff I have behind me.
we have
Made it.
we have your little Loris, you
Mm-hmm.
of course being the bigger Loris, and we have your poop statue.
Yeah,
Nice, nice. It's your best impression.
thank
Um,
you.
and this is why. Look, if I have any talent, it's that I have 20/20 vision. I can even spot your little stripper mouse up there.
Yeah, right
Uh,
there.
that's great. Well, you took more from the studio than I thought you were going to do, but I did grab something.
Okay.
Check it out.
Wow.
Your J is waiting for you.
Yeah. Have you cleaned them out? Because last I
Yes.
remembered there
And by the
was,
way, it took 4 cleanings. They are disgusting. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It took a while. But
Do you,
I got one more thing for you.
okay.
And I figured this is something you weren't going to take because, again, you don't want a lot of things in your apartment. You're a
No.
minimalist.
Yeah.
And I'll be damned if Compound's going to hold on to this. 1 second.
Oh, great. Oh my gosh.
I don't know if this is going to get me laid, but it's not like a woman's been in this
Oh
apartment
my
for years
God.
anyway. But yeah, I got it. I got it. No one's going to take that.
I like to imagine you sleeping at night at the foot of it.
It's a very uncomfortable pillow. I will say that. But I wanted to make sure I grabbed that bad boy. But you got the better ones. I'm glad the Laura's
Yep.
back in her home.
Yep. She's good. She's, in the plant in her natural habitat.
Looks like she's taking a dump in the plant, frankly.
So Bill, how have your past few weeks been?
Productive? Not really. I as you know, I did do the historical bar crawl walking tour with the birthday girl that was Lauren Sivan,
Yeah.
who did indeed dress up as sexy Alexander Hamilton. And as you and I have talked about many times on our show, if you type in sexy and then something else, there's a Halloween costume for it. We
Of
found
course.
we found you a sexy Pinocchio.
Yep.
There's sexy anything, and Lauren found a sexy Alexander Hamilton and went with it. I did do that.
And what were you dressed as? Because I have some pictures here, and I think we should check it out.
By
It's
the way, I recall
debatable.
you being invited.
I
I mean, it was
was.
a lot of people, Joe. You might have been there, and I missed it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I did show up. Unfortunately, there were just throngs of people, and I couldn't get up close enough. But as we see here,
Pop her up.
Lauren looking adorable.
She looks so
And
cute.
Bill, what were you dressed as? Here you don't have your hat on. Let's
Yeah,
find a picture with the hat. Oh, here we
yeah,
are.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Um,
So this didn't go down the way I thought it would. No one thought that I was indeed Bill the Butcher from the iconic Gaines of New York movie.
uh-huh.
Indeed, they thought I was either the Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland
Sure.
or the most I got was Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
Neither of them badasses, Joe. But
Yeah.
that's what I am.
And this is a shirt that you made for Lauren's sister.
Yes, that went over very well. As you have known from our inception at Compound, I'm big on the bells and whistles, and
Mm-hmm.
I was so concerned about the tour that I'm like bells and whistles. And one of the major bells and whistles was getting Margot a shirt that I made at Cafe Press. I don't know why I'm giving them a plug because it was really expensive. Um, and I wrote, yeah, just please don't let my sister drink, drug, or make babies. And then Lauren did a story with LAPD a long
Uh-huh.
time ago, and they let her take mugshots.
That
And
is
they're
great.
readily available online. So I just got one of those, and there we
That
go.
is great.
You
Lauren and
see,
her sister.
Margot was not against wearing it. There she is. What a cutie.
And here you are with the group. As you'll
Yeah.
see, I'm actually the one taking the video in a circle, which is why I'm not
No, no, no.
in
This
these
is a
pictures.
lie. This is about
What?
as real as Joanne's books. No, she
Ouch.
was not there. Um, Never actually made it. I was hoping at least Douglas would show up, but
Yeah, no, unfortunately, we had to work. This I know is you working, so to each
yeah,
their own.
and also working it, if I might add.
You really did commit to this hat, though. It seems you wore it most of the time.
Yeah, I really like it, and I remember how you and Steve were saying that I might like make speeches in my place by myself and just talk to my
Yeah.
toys while wearing it.
Mm,
You're not
yeah.
wrong,
Now,
but
why did you bring a knife?
because I'm Bill the Butcher, not Willy
Yeah,
Wonka.
yeah, but I mean, that feels dangerous.
Well, it's a prop knife. You saw it. I brought.
Oh,
Yeah, I think I brought it
sure.
to the studio. Right. That's by the way, that's Paris Cafe that I will at some point take you to because even though you don't like hanging out with me, you do like your brunch, and they
I
got
do.
big. They have big brunches there at this point. But that is, I believe, I want to say I've already forgotten. I want to say it's like 1870 that was made,
Oh, wow.
and on and off, continuously running bar in the South Street Seaport District. Absolutely gorgeous.
Look at all
Um,
that lead paint. Yeah.
yeah. Oh God, it is just full of all kinds of stuff that you would get in your system if you lived so many years ago. But
So you had a good time. It went over well. Everyone was happy. What do you think?
I think that I made rent. I made a bunch of money, but I think it was pity money. I think a lot
Yeah.
of people were realized that perhaps morning wasn't happening anymore, and like was
Yeah.
I think I told you like it's supposed to be a historical bar crawl. Now again, with the bells and whistles, I also had, of course, a lot of fun historical facts in between bars. But here's the thing: we went to two bars. Now, technically, we went to three because we ended up at Joe DeRosa's lovely. Let's definitely give him a plug. Joey Rose's on Rivington, but I don't think that counts as a historical bar. That is
Mm,
just everyone was drunk and like I had a
yeah.
bunch of other places lined up, but the problem is everyone came late. A lot of people came late, and I'm in the middle of like talking about well, this is this area where they have this Titanic thing that was done by Molly blah blah blah. It was an amazing fact, but I'm doing my fucking spiel. And I'm also looking at my phone, being like, "Bill, I'm going to be 2 hours late. Can I meet you at Francis?" Like you're navigating all that stuff.
Yeah.
It was a learning process. I'm learning from the mistakes I've made to make the next one, if there is a next one, better. But Lauren was very nice and still said she had a good time. But yeah, I mean, a bar crawl is a stretch.
Now, our friend Courtney Friel did
Yeah,
recently email us, and she suggested, and I think it's a great idea, that you put this on Airbnb experiences. So it's a subset of Airbnb where if people are traveling to New York City and they're looking for walking tours, bar crawls, whatever it might be, they just go on the site and people are offering like their services. So a historical pub crawl, I haven't heard of many. So that's an option for you.
I love it, and I so agree with it. And also, as you know, I'm a luddite. I mean, you did all of this today. Thank you so much for that, because I'm terrible at it. But especially after Lawrence, like the feedback was okay, but again, it was two bars, Joe. Like I really
Yeah.
screwed up on that. My whole thing is like I feel like I got to get a couple more in me before I really try to LLC this whole thing.
Yeah.
And maybe get a little gratuity while I do it, so it's not completely free. But I don't know. I feel like there's a learning process I need to go through before I really go online and say, "Hey, come at me. I'll
That's
show
nice of
you."
you. I feel like that's a lot more effort and concern than most people who sign up for these things. So,
Well, thanks. And also, it's just like the old cliche of like, the older you get, the more you realize you don't know. my whole thing also was just, and also thank God the crowd that we had, they could care less. They were just ready for their next drink. But when you go from one place to another and you give a little bit of fun facts, the worry is that they're going to ask you something that you don't know. And I was very clear that I'm like, I'm not a professional.
Mm,
I've only done this 2 other times, but the whole time I'm just like, I don't know anything about this area. I know the little I know, but if anyone asks me a question, I'm going to look like an idiot. Shockingly, I was dressed like Willy Wonka, so I already looked like an idiot. So I guess I shouldn't have worried about that. Again, it was Bill the Butcher. But I'm yammering. Thank you for asking about it, even though you didn't show
yeah,
up.
I didn't really care, but I thought I should ask.
That's par for the course. What's been going on with you?
Well, Bill, I survived an earthquake. Um, the first I've ever felt. Let me tell you, I am great in emergency situations.
You've said this. I don't
I
believe it.
the apartment, I was home, the apartment starts rattling. At first, I think like every New Yorker thinks, is it the train? Is it the subway?
Yes.
But then you remember, I live above ground and too far from the subway to be feeling it.
Yes.
Realized it was an earthquake. I immediately stand in a doorway, which I
Are you
believe is what you're
serious?
supposed to
Oh,
do.
so
Yes,
you.
immediately stand in a doorway. Douglas comes out from the other room and goes, "What is this?" And I'm like, either it's a Con Ed plant blowing up or it's an earthquake. And he's like, "Let's go outside." And I was like, "No, I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to escape a building." I don't know actually,
Well,
but
and sorry to interrupt, but I have to say this. It amazes me that the first thing Douglas said was asking you, "What is this?" As if you could
yeah,
possibly have an answer.
yeah,
Well, as plate tectonic shift, Douglas. Sorry,
yeah.
go
So then, immediately the next thing I did was I went on Twitter to see if anyone else, this is always what I do. If there's an internet outage, I'm like, is anyone on Twitter pissed about it? If I hear a low flying helicopter, I'm like, on Twitter, what's going on? So, yes, realized quickly it was an earthquake. And then let me share my screen for this. We got a really great
on.
um,
Yes.
tweet. And of course, timing is everything. Had this happened earlier, everyone would have been able to see Five Fan's incredible work.
So
But
good.
one of our fans, Chris Orlando, had tweeted, "I'm already sad knowing Five Fan would have had a great earthquake graphic for Monday's show." And he did it anyway. And it's so good.
Uh,
There I am, just kind of shaking around. And you are the most stable you've ever been with a cigarette in your mouth and a cup of coffee.
it's more accurate than you know
Or is that a
because
beer?
I think it's a beer. Um,
Yeah.
but I felt nothing. And also,
Yeah.
I believe your place is pre-war as well, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I chalked it up to the fact that my place was built in my place. The building was built in 1921, and I'm like, well, they don't make them like they used to, and I felt nothing, and I was really pissed about it because I've never actually felt an earthquake. Um,
Mm,
and I guess we had one in Illinois one time, but I didn't feel that. Uh, and I was very upset about that. But you got the whole thing. But I
yeah.
got nothing. I had no idea that anything happened.
Yeah. And it was, what did it end up being? Like a 4.8. It was like a pretty sizable one. So I can't imagine having a bigger on the Richter scale, like what that
They're
would be like.
they're saying that we still might get some aftershocks weeks later, and I hope so because
Oh
I just
wow.
want to feel something. Well, that applies to my whole life,
I was
but
gonna say you're always just trying to feel something.
it'd be
Um,
nice. It'd be nice. But yeah, I had no idea, no clue, nothing. Yeah.
all
Thank
right.
you, pre-war building with bike over there.
Yeah,
But
so
yeah, I
long
had
as your bike stays up, all is
no
good.
idea.
All right, let's do a little what did I miss?
Yes.
Insert graphic here.
So what did I miss? What did I miss?
Okay, so usually we would be discussing all of this as we're watching it, so we're probably a little behind. Last we spoke, you were sort of nervous about the Ben Franklin series starring Michael Douglas. Did
Yes.
you watch it? What do you think?
Okay, so and I know you. Unfortunately, I do very well. And I know what I can recommend and what I can't recommend. So when I recommended to you way back in the day, Last Dance, I know Joanne appreciates excellence. So even if she's not that into the NBA, she's going to appreciate this. And I was right. I
Mm-hmm.
did the same thing with the Dynasty, and I think I recommended something else to you that you liked. Okay, so we did show the trailer of the Franklin thing on our long lamented show. If you recall, I didn't necessarily send you a text recommending it
Mm,
because I don't
yeah.
want you to be mad at me, and I don't want you to be like, Bill, you just took an hour out of my life while I'm watching Michael Douglas in a wig. Like I can feel that anger. So I'm not full on. I like it because you know me. I'm a dork and I like that stuff. I am not fully recommending this to a lot of people. It's gotten mixed reviews, but I assume you have not taken a look.
I have not. I think I just saw a tweet that said you watched it.
Yes. Oh, I've seen. I just watched the latest episode today. John Adams has finally made an appearance. Yeah, the whole thing is. Oh God, the 8 years. It's amazing that it took this long for Franklin to convince France to join us in the Revolutionary War. But
Mm,
the whole thing is about that, which I think was kind of probably a mistake. It should have been more other parts of Franklin's life.
mm,
But I do like it. I like it a lot. But it's a lot of subtitles, which I don't like. The people who speak French, you know, and you
oh,
get
okay.
that. And also, Michael Douglas doesn't even try to speak French. He does, but he sounds like me in third, fourth grade, fifth grade, I guess, when I tried to take French and I failed and then moved on to Spanish, barely made that. But he does a terrible job of that, among other things. It's a lot of diplomacy. And like,
Mm,
and Franklin was kind of a lech, and he famously was in the society in both London and I think there was a chapter in Paris called the Hellfire Club, and it was essentially a society of people that drank, drugged, and did orgies, like the higher up echelon. Like all that stuff's pretty interesting. Not a lot of that. In fact, none of
yeah.
it in this. It's a lot of just again diplomacy.
Well,
so
at
for
that point, you would
me,
think it would be on like a different network or something.
yeah,
You know, it's on, what is it, Apple Plus?
Apple Plus,
So
yes.
you would think there would at least be a little more entertaining.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that's been a lot of the criticism. Um, I, again, of course, love it, but like really the only people I've recommended it to are and I am as they've made me, my equally dorky parents. I know they're going to like it. And actually, I would never recommend it to my mom if it was more of the Franklin
That's true.
orgies, but
Yeah.
the fact that it's just sort of boring diplomacy, I'm like, yeah, I'll recommend this to mom. But
Yeah.
have you seen anything that you like? Give that to me.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
need, I need some
So
options.
talked a little bit about Ewan McGregor starring in A Gentleman in
Yes.
Moscow. We were talking about how his wife is cast as his love interest and they still used an intimacy coordinator. By the way, the first sex scene, you see nothing, they do nothing. So very strange.
Weird.
I reread the book before watching the show just to refamiliarize myself with the story. And they are really changing the plot and the characters to the point where I'm like, this isn't making it better or more understandable. It's now confusing me as someone who's read the book. And it sucks to watch it with me. Poor Douglas. I'm like pausing it every 5 seconds to be like, why did they do this? Or like, this character, they've blended two characters. They shouldn't
Oh,
have done that. Or I'm like, the character would never speak to this woman this way. He's a gentleman. And I am just the expert. But what's interesting is that the author, Amar Tolls, is, I guess, an executive producer, or he helped create this. So I'm assuming all of these decisions he either had himself or agreed to. So I don't know. It's just not, the book is way better. It really is. I'll continue watching just
I,
because it's good, but I don't know.
even though you've never written a book in your life, contrary to what you have claimed for the last 7 years on our show,
I'm
you are
confused.
actually a very voracious reader. I will give you credit on that. You are constantly reading. And I knew nothing about this until you told me about it. And just for everyone else, it's basically the character Ewan McGregor is playing. And I know this because of you. He, I guess, I don't even know what time in Russia it was, but he was basically arrested to the hotel he works in, and he's in
He
house
was
arrest for like 20
so
years, right?
he's a count or excellent. They call him Your Excellency. So
Okay.
he was living in this hotel, and he was charged with, I guess, inciting the revolution with a poem, being the author of this poem. So it really was just like getting rid of the aristocracy. We don't want this whole class structure. And so they were like, your crime will be to live in this hotel for the rest of your life. You're never allowed to leave.
Crazy.
Yeah, but and ultimately it's what saves him. Like other people that he knew were murdered. But because he got this sentence, it actually ended up saving his life. And so you get to then see the rest of his life. Well, I'm not sure how much, I mean, they must cover the whole book, but it spans decades. So I don't know if there's multiple
Did he?
seasons or what.
I don't know if you want to do a spoiler alert, but so does he spend the rest of his life in that fucking hotel?
Yeah.
Oh,
Until, well,
although I got to tell you,
I don't want to spoil.
there's worse ways to live. I love my room service.
And hey, speaking of traveling, the other show that I've been watching is Ripley. They did a limited series
Saw a trailer.
based off of the movie The Talented Mr. Ripley,
Yes.
starring Andrew Scott, who's been in a ton of stuff, but he plays the priest in Fleabag, the hot priest. He's
I'm
so
aware.
good. The show is not as good as the movie.
Oh,
It's not, it's beautifully shot, like it's almost storyboarded pictures, like you can see how they mapped out they were going to film it. It's beautiful, but it's all in black and white,
yeah.
which I don't know if that changes a few episodes in. But what I loved about the first movie was the costumes and the
Oh,
scenery, and you're missing so much because it's in black and white. And
sorry to
maybe I
interrupt.
sound like,
What did I absolutely, and this again goes back to how well I know you. What did I call you on when during your Italian getaway with Douglas dress was?
you said I just based my whole wardrobe off of The Talented Mr. Ripley, and I did. I
Yeah.
watched that movie for inspiration. So I definitely, I don't know,
They
I'm
were
missing
cute
that.
dresses. They were cute
Maybe
dresses.
at some point it
Well,
will switch into
you look like
color.
a Gwyneth Paltrow in Talented Mr. Ripley. That's what immediately what came to my mind.
Yeah. Well,
But
and here's the other thing. So it's Dakota Fanning is cast as the Gwyneth Paltrow character. And at
okay,
first you would think, oh, that's kind of similar. But what I loved about Gwyneth playing the role is her complete sort of ambivalence at the start. And
yes,
she kind of thinks that that Ripley is charming, and they're all just kind of friendly. And then she gets a little suspect. But Dakota Fanning from the get-go is like, who are you? And I'm like, why are you playing the end at the beginning? You got to have room to
oh, I
like
agree.
grow. Anyways, so it's good. I'm going to keep watching it, but it just makes me want to watch the movie again.
Okay, well, this is in a roundabout way, and I promise this will be the last time I mention the walking tour. But initially, we were going to have Lauren Sivan's mom there, and she had
Okay.
just was still recovering from COVID and couldn't come, and I was very disappointed because Lauren Sivan's mom was part and parcel of my tour in the sense that, and like, I honestly get mad at Lauren about this because, like, let her have her fun. Lauren is appalled by the fact that her mom is on these Reddits and fan chats about her absolute obsession with Cillian Murphy. Now, stay with me on this. Her mom is
Okay.
obsessed with Cillian Murphy and knows everything about him. And, like, every time I talk to her mom, I'm like, well, and I've never seen it, but I'm like, well, Jackie, I've read that maybe Peaky Blinders might become a movie. She's like, no, Bill, that is inaccurate. He said he's up for a movie. There is no script that has been actually approved. I know
Mm-hmm.
he's ready for it. Like, it's that. And my big surprise for the tour was our mutual friend Joshua McCarroll. I was going to reveal him, and I was going to first rip up a 8x10 of Cillian Murphy in front of Jackie because I'm playing a guy that hated Irish people, Bill the Butcher, in the movie, and I hated this Irishman took Oscars away from us when he wanted, and then I was
Sure.
going to sniff out another Irish guy and then bring out Joshua by his ear and throw him into the crowd. Lauren was very happy about the Joshua.
That was a lot for nothing, wasn't it, Bill?
It was a lot for nothing. But anyway, in a roundabout way, this goes back to what you're talking about. Her new obsession is, and I've already forgotten the name you said, is the dude in Ripley. She, like, almost Cillian Murphy might be a side part to her new crush, and it is that guy. And Lauren,
Andrew Scott.
Lauren was rolling her eyes at that, but she's obsessed with this dude. Yeah.
That's so funny. Why doesn't her mother like... Why doesn't she like Americans?
Oh, seriously? Yeah, it's unpatriotic. Should have torn up this page.
As a Long Island woman, that seems out of character, but...
As a woman that dated a British guy for at least, 2-3 years?
Speaking of Long Island, baseball. Not really a segue.
No.
A little baseball bandwagon. Bill, how are your White Sox doing? If this is their year, isn't it?
So let's edit all this out. Anyway, getting back to Ripley.
How many games have they played? Like, how far are we in right now?
They are 3-15, the White Sox.
Okay.
They are one of the original American League teams. And as I texted you, and again, screw you, in their 124-year history, this is the worst start they have ever had. And to the point where this isn't going to be a good summer. I think across the board.
Well, not with that attitude.
I was actually thinking of going to Philadelphia because the White Sox are playing the Phillies in Philadelphia this weekend, and maybe I could crash at my brother-in-law's place. He lives there. And I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? Even though I like Philly because of the history, I'm like, why would I even put any money into seeing them play anywhere? Maybe a Yankee game later on this year that I'm sure you'll ignore me when I ask you to come. But what's the point? I'm too old for rebuilding. I'm too old for pain at this point. I can't deal with it anymore.
But what if, sure, you're saying it's like the worst start in 124 years.
No, it is. It absolutely by fact is.
But what if it's also the best comeback in 124 years? Like, wouldn't you want to witness that history?
If you had said that to 12-year-old Bill, he absolutely would have bought it. Oh, I was so wide-eyed and believing in crap like that when I was that age as a White Sox fan. But now I want to spit in your face. You know what? I'm going to spit in the screen.
I don't care for that.
It's going in your face. No, come on, please. Don't con, man. I'm done. The Bulls have a play-in tonight if you want to watch that with me.
They have a what?
It's a play-in to get in the playoffs. That's how bad the Bulls are. You have to play the game to get into the playoffs.
Basketball is still happening. What is going on? I thought there were already playoffs.
Well, yes, some of them have started. Maybe one already, but no, it's play-ins to the playoffs and teams that you wouldn't suspect. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Wow. Yeah, I probably won't watch. All right, shall we wrap this up? This has been a nice little reunion. I don't know what you would call this.
I mean, reunion's nice, but like
first show on our own. I don't know.
We're trying. But it was nice seeing you again.
Do you have any last minute plugs or promotions, Bill?
Oh gosh, maybe don't see Franklin unless you're really into the dorky stuff. And why am I promoting Franklin? They're not paying for us.
Truly.
Give us your plugs and promotions.
All right. If you want more of this, leave a comment, like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're figuring it out. It might get better. It might stay exactly like this. But we wanted to do this for you all. So let us know what you want to see, and we'll do our best to give you what you want. Thanks for watching.